Anyway, all right. All right, Jiri Prohaska, lightweight champion of Rizin against Fabio Maldonado. Teep to the jump. Take it away.
Okay, so looking at this fight,
Back to low audio, huh?
What's that? Oh, what? No, hold on. Pause the record. I'm dialing back in.
It's all good. We'll go to Muhammed.
So, as Teep was saying, Maldonado versus Prohaska. It's a bad matchup, man. I really like how everything else that we've done on this card has been very competitive, not obvious squash matches.
Mm-hmm.
And they make like good competitive fights, but this one, not so much. I know they're trying to keep him busy and everything, but this is not a good look, not a good match. Jiri by absolute destruction. But Ryan Bader recently called him out, so hopefully a successful fight here sets that up for New Year's.
It's not a title match, this one, though, I believe.
Yeah, no, it's just in terms of keeping him busy and that star power.
Right.
Yeah, because I don't think it's a title fight either.
Dean, you think this is easy work for Jiri?
For the most part, I think Fabio's got some hands. He's got some boxing skills, so he'll keep it. He'll keep it going for a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He's not just going to get run over right away. But yeah, once he starts getting tagged and feeling Prohaska's power, I think he really is one of the top 10 guys in the world at like that light heavyweight, cruiserweight kind of size.
Clay?
I don't know what Muhammad was saying by this is a terrible fight. I think it's a great fight. I think it's another name that Yuri's going to put underneath his belt next to King Mo. I think it's the perfect setup to the Ryan Bader fight. So I'm going with Yuri. Probably, I don't think it's going to be first round. I don't think it's going to be immediate. I think it might be second round. Is it 10-minute rounds? Do you know?
No, 5-3-minute rounds.
5-3, yeah.
Oh, okay. Then, yeah, second round. I'm going with second round.
I sure hope on that point, I sure hope they get back to the first round being 10-minute round. I think that it changes everything. Josh Barnett talked about that recently, how he would like to go to Japan and fight the 10-minute round because he talked about the Benson Henderson-Miles Jury fight, how those guys would have figured each other out a little faster if it was a 10-minute round at first, right?
That's a good point.
Let me. Okay, Teep, go ahead, take it away. We all picked this one.
All right. So what did everybody pick?
Everyone picked Jiri pretty easily.
How? What's the round in the second?
Oh shit! We're gonna let you.
I said second round knockout, cold.
First round knockout for me, 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
Where's our scribe? Write that down, scribe.
3 minutes and 50 seconds. Okay.
Yes, round one.
Dean?
I'll take Jiri in the third round.
Oh.
Count on Maldonado's chin?
He's got a good dough, man. He can get blasted a lot of times, and he usually does that. So
and he did beat Fedor, right?
That was a bad fight.
Perfect fight to show someone, to show them like.
I thought that was
it ain't must system.
I don't know, guys. I thought the Maldonado fight with Fedor was a great fight. It just didn't go the way I wanted it to go. That was fucking tense.
It was.
I was like, what the fuck?
It was a crazy fight, and I don't remember if that fight was scored round by round, because the only way that you could make a case for Fedor in that fight was probably if it was Japanese scoring.
It was in Russia.
No, it's because he staggered dude across the ring in the same round that he almost died in.
Right.
So it was enough that if a 10-8 is one-sided, you don't stagger the guy across the ring in a 10-8 unless it's really, really bad. So it was, for me, it was like, the whole, anyway, it was just a bunch of bullshit, the people's reaction to it. I thought it was a great fight. I don't need Fedor to win to enjoy his fights. I enjoyed the Bader fight.
Part of the problem is kind of what Dean's saying, is Maldonado is more durable than people are willing to give him credit for. Everyone's looking at this
very much
squash match, and Maldonado's tough. He's got fucking hands, and he's got a chin.
That's why I said second round.
His game plan is just to sort of back up, go with the high, tight guard, hope that his opponent, blasts off on him and burns himself out, and then try to land a big counter. And as long as you don't do exactly that, which Fedor almost gets to. As long as you don't really play.
Fedor did. He came in for the kill, and he got caught with a beautiful two-piece, rolling two-piece off the cage. And then Saylor spent the rest of the fight trying not to get in that position again and die.
He got caught the only way Maldonado would ever catch anyone. He plays.
We have seen Jiri do that against King Mo.
Yeah.
You know, we watched him kind of rush in, and I know that was a long time ago, but we did see Jiri get caught on a, you know, something.
I think he was
similar.
tired.
Yeah, but he learned from that one.
I think so,
I mean, if you look at his record since, he's been tearing it up since that loss.
He has, 10 or 11 fights in Rizin, most of any fighter.
Mm-hmm.
So, Teep, you're
he's on
picking
an 8-fight streak.
Fabio? Who are you picking, Teep?
He picked Fabio.
I'm definitely going with Jiri. Yes, oh my God. Jiri P all day.
What's your time and round?
I don't know if it's going to be so I hate picking decisions because I don't want even like a slight energy coming out from me going out to the universe to will a decision. I think this one might go the distance, but if it does, Maldonado's head is going to just look like a baboon's bottom. He's going to be all fucked up. It's most likely, I think that, is it a 10-minute first round?
No.
3-5? 3 by 5?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think late in the second round, Jiri's going to pile it on. Maldonado's going to get stopped on cuts.
All right. Well, that settles that. Let's go to earlier in the card since we got some time here. We got 3 kickboxing matches and another 2 MMA fights. So 13 bouts total on this card. I don't know how much you guys know about Seiki Yuama against Yume. Anybody want to talk about that? Anyone know about those guys or make a pick real quick? Deep, your wind's blowing.
I know very little or nothing.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with these guys either, but we'll go to the second fight, Shoma Abbasi against Changhee Kim. I know that Changhee Kim has only won one MMA fight, and it was a guy against the name Bone Bone.
Yeah, Bone Bone.
But this is an open weight contest, and I did see that Changhee Kim came in yesterday at about 160.
Holy.
Yeah, 160 kilograms, something like that. I mean, he's huge.
And
Abbasi has beat Rio Sakai, the same guy that Rocky Martinez won his deep title from. And so Shoma has some experience. Both guys have fought in deep, I believe. But yeah, Changhee Kim has little to no MMA experience. I think it goes without saying Shoma should wipe him up. Everyone agree with that?
Yes.
Yo, is that Bone Bone guy real? He doesn't have a Tapology page. It takes a lot to not have a Tapology page. There are people with no fights who have a page on there, I think.
In Deep Cage Impact his last fight, but I don't know where that fight against Bone Bone was, but that's the only fight that he's won.
It was in Gladiator.
Bone Bone.
Maybe it was like a fist fight outside like a bar or something.
Like BJ or something? Like you think he was outside of like a Hawaiian bar and he just knocked out some guy named Bone Bone?
I don't think anybody has a clue, Clay.
Listen to this experience disparity right here. So he fought Minowa. He lost to a scarf hold to Minowa 47-31-8. And he was 0-1 at the time.
Jeez.
Oh, shit.
The good thing about this bout is seeing the open weight back in Rizin. I think that we could all agree that we want to see more of this, more heavyweights, more,
Baruto.
Right?
Does anyone think this is anything other than like a match to get Shoma over so they can immediately sacrifice him to like a Rocky Martinez or a whoever comes in?
I agree, but I also think... Go ahead.
I was going to say, did you guys hear? So King Mo unretired. He's back.
Yeah,
he had a long one for MMA. It was almost a few months.
Yeah.
And who
I don't remember who he's fighting, but it's Bellator, I think 233.
It's not even. It wasn't a recognizable name. I don't even remember the name.
Yeah, me neither.
One of the top comments was saying it was like, oh, but it's okay because he's coming for that huge money fight with XYZ.
Well, let me ask you guys this: if he gets a couple wins, do we want to see a trilogy with Jiri or no?
No. I don't think it'd be competitive.
So what's his money fight besides that?
Bader.
Rampage. Nah, he's not. There are too many guys in line. Rampage. When Rampage gets knocked out by Fedor, they can book Mo versus Rampage. It'll be fun.
That's not
a bad talk. Will be fun at least.
Who is his pro wrestling nemesis? Does anybody know?
Good question.
I couldn't tell you that.
You could do King Mo versus Jake Hager at open weight.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Holy shit! So
that would actually be a pretty good matchup because I mean, it's so uneven in different directions in different ways. That was pretty intriguing. I love open weight. What's that?
Nobody knows who King Mo's fighting.
I'll look it up. Fuck it.
I only saw the headline. I didn't read it, and they were lame. They didn't even put it in the headline.
Hey, real quick, I wanted to shout
Andrew-
out.
They'd be like, King Mo returns. It's like, motherfucker, put in the
It's
headline.
against Andrew Capel. Do you know who that is? Andrew
No.
Capel?
I don't. Teep, do you know who that guy is?
I
No, I'm about
totally
to look
know
him
who
up.
that guy is just from like the shit ass regional nobody gets paid circuit. Like,
Andrew Capel.
Guys, topology pictures.
But don't you think it's kind of right that Mo, I mean, he maybe to get a soft touch?
The little pumpkin on
Yeah,
his
I see that.
Is that bad or what?
Yeah, his tattoo is awful. Oh my
Oh,
god.
let's see. He's literally just coming back for a win, King Mo. I want to end my final fight with a win, unlike
Really?
wrestling.
He said he
My
was only
final
doing
wrestling
one
match
more or
is-
what?
What's that?
He said he was only doing one more. I haven't read any of this, by the way.
Yeah, I'm looking. I think it's I don't know if this is Mania or Bloody Elbow, but as for Capel's 14-6, and he's won 4 in a row.
Ariel
Three
Hawani
of them
says he's
by-
coming
three
back
of
for
them by-
one last fight. Ariel says it's one last fight.
One last fight against
Yeah,
this
this
guy.
is a Mania article. It's probably based on Hawani's thing anyway.
What the hell?
Like
He could have
shit.
fought my
Yeah,
boy
he told
Dean in the
MMA fighting.
regional circuit.
Huh?
He could have fought Dean in the regional circuit. You're going to get a regional guy.
He fought in Sparta. He didn't fight in Kickdown. I'm mistaken. So
Oh, shit.
Dean, what's your weight class?
it kind of depends, man. Like, I like the cheese fries.
He would do open weight against Mo.
Yeah, man.
I wait like 10 more
Probably
years.
win.
10 more years?
You wait 10 more years?
This Andrew Capel guy, he beat Adam Stroop in Sparta, who's a pretty good Muay Thai guy out of Factory X. Got a choke over him. Looks like he's hit a few chokes in a row. So
Wow.
Yeah, he's not a complete bum.
Wow.
yeah, I know some guys who've trained with him. They say he's a pretty good fighter, but I mean, it kind of I think just depends.
Why did he book that fight though? That makes no sense.
Why what?
One last fight and it's
Came
against
right on
Andrew
the
Campbell.
on the heels of that Fedor King Mo fight, so maybe it gave him that itch, or maybe he's like, "Fuck it, I'm coming back too." And you can't really blame him.
No.
Competitor his whole life having to go out on a loss. I think that's really hard to stomach.
He wants to finish on a win, man.
Yeah,
He's had a tough run.
Let me just say,
He's had a tough run, but he won Grand Prix. He's a badass dude.
Muhammed Lawal fan, a huge fan. I do know that just from being around circles and stuff that he wanted to retire in Japan, and he it was hard for him to fight this Jiri fight because he was eating cheeseburgers the day before weigh-ins to try to make 205, and he had long talked about going. Is this fight at 185?
Has to be.
No, 190, I think.
Because Stroop and Capella are 85ers.
190? Are you serious?
It's
No,
195.
195. 195 catch weight.
What in the world?
Wait,
It's a win that looks good on paper. The guy is not likely to submit King Mo. You know what I mean? That's not like even like a past prime King Mo isn't likely to get subbed right now by a guy who hasn't subbed like a top level fighter, an elite fighter. It might be fair to say.
Well, and
King
like I said,
Mo
Yeah, he's gonna go in.
He stopped in the CSBJJ before, and I don't think anybody submitted him when he was here.
Wow. I could tell you that
He's really good.
He's kind of gained the right to do whatever he wants because he's been through so much and he's been a warrior in this game. I would just like to see him go out on a, someone with a name. So maybe he beats this guy and fights one more or something, It's just
I'd be down for it. As long as they want to fight, I'm always down to watch. If it's in the companies I'm watching.
Let's finish up this card real quick, and then we'll get into the Bellator show on the 29th. But we got late substitution for Shintaro Matsusuka, Hiroya against Takuma Konishi. Hiroya hasn't fought since Rizin 1. I don't know that he fought at all since then. I know he was K1 champion, Crush champion.
Under 18 champion, right?
What's that?
He was like an under 18 champion back in the day.
Yeah, and then he's of course the coach to Try Hard and Taiga's brother. I think that this is going to be a really competitive match. I don't know about the 77 kilogram thing because I don't think Hiroya has ever fought above 71 or 72. But it goes without saying, I think that he's probably going to win even on late notice. This is like a 3-day notice for him. Anybody got any thoughts about this fight? Negative?
I agree. It would be nice to see, both of them showcasing both brothers. But yeah, like the last minute replacement bit is a little bit concerned, and that long layoff. But I still see him being able to have a good showing at least. But it will go to decision because kickboxing fights are shorter anyways. But it'll be a competitive decision. I say win for Taiga Senior.
Taiga Senior. Clay, you got anything on this one? You want to pick someone?
Man, I know what you're talking about with the decision. I think Rizin Kickboxing, they have the best kickboxing because Rizin 15, didn't they have like 6 finishes in a row or something ridiculous with their kickboxing? So I think it's going to be Hiroya, probably round 2, knockout.
Dean?
Yeah, I'll take Hiroya, but I'm not sure if he gets it done. The weight could just mean he's not in the best of shape. So.
Well, and I think some of the weight too was because maybe to help Takuma out a little bit because a late replacement guy who knows. I mean, I do know that this next match should have been higher up on the card. I mean, they usually do this with kickboxing fights, but Taiju Shiratori against Taiga. Taiju just won the Rise World Series along with Tenshin, in the higher 61 kilograms. This is at 62. But if Taiga wins this fight, he's going to call out Tenshin. I'm almost sure of that. Because he can get a little lower. But this is probably one of the closest fights on the whole card, along with the Johnny Case Souza thing. What do you think about this, Muhammad? Did you watch that Rise World Series?
Highlights, not the full thing in completion. But yeah, I'm still not fully sold on Taiga in terms of the expectations and living up to those. So with that one, it's hard to pick this one, especially with Taiju's current streak and the performances that he's had. So I'm probably going to go with Taiju instead of Taiga for this fight. But I agree that it's going to be competitive. And yeah.
Well, let me just say, I'd have a hard time picking anybody right now over Taiju Shiratori, right? The way he looked in that Rise World Series, every round he looked unbeatable. Clay, did you watch that at all?
Yeah, I saw that. I actually only saw Taiju's fight. That's the only highlights I saw. But yeah, I was going to go with Muhammad's pick on there. I think Taiga, he's a flashy fighter. He's always entertaining, but I think he's probably going to get finished in this fight.
Well, and he did get finished in the Rise World Series. I think it was first round Taiga did, and he hasn't looked anything like, I've said this every podcast, but he hasn't looked any, except for the last Rizin fight. He finally started to look like he was into it a little bit, but that was against a little bit smaller of a guy.
Yeah.
Can't remember that guy's name, but he was the guy who pulls the sword out of his pants. You guys remember that? He does that move where he pulls the sword out and does a little hook that's totally telegraphed. Right? Never worked. Teep, what do you got on this one? Taiju or Taiga?
I don't have an opinion.
All right.
I don't have an opinion.
Well, let me just say this real quick. I think that Taiga is better, but I think that Taiju Shiratori, like I said, what we saw from him in the Rise World Series, I suggest anyone go and check out the highlights at least on YouTube. He was amazing. In fact, I thought he looked better than Tenshin throughout that World Series. I mean, they'll probably never fight each other because they're from the same gym.
Right.
But, and he's, I don't know, 8 pounds heavier than him or whatever, which is a lot in kickboxing at this weight. But I have a hard time seeing anybody beating Shiratori right now. I mean, he looked that good against stiff competition, And finally, we got Nakamura against Souza's older brother, Marcos Yoshio Souza. Muhammad, have you seen Marcos fight?
No, I have not.
You watched the Confessions, I'm sure, though, and you saw him rolling around with his brother and how his brother even said that he's better than him. He's older than him.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, and so he says he's
I don't know how much I put into that, to be honest with you. But, yeah. I mean, he's got a great record and everything. Well, brothers big each other up and everything. But having said that, I just think as far as, my pick for this one would be Nakamura, just because I know he was a little hot and cold in the UFC, but he was extremely competitive in a lot of the fights, and he wasn't, he didn't just leave on a terrible streak of just getting outclassed and finished. So,
what was his last fight? Do we know that?
It was against Sultan Alayev.
Oh, what event was that?
That was UFC on ESPN 7.
Jeez, I don't remember that fight.
Me neither, actually, looking at this. I do remember he did finish Zhiling Liang.
Yeah, in his first UFC fight, right?
Yeah, that's actually a great victory right there.
Yeah,
it is.
So I mean,
where did he go in the UFC? What was his record in the UFC?
4-4.
Yeah, he kept on getting wins and then a loss, win and then a loss. But all of his losses are by decision. Like, he never got smoked or anything.
Yeah.
What was he fighting at 55?
70.
No, 70. Because if it's
170.
Yeah.
And 77 kilograms is what? Like 162, right? Something like that? Or 160?
It's 170.
170? 77 is?
Yep. It says it on Tapology. 77.1 kilograms is 170 pounds.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. 2.2 pounds per kilogram. Yeah, I've seen Nakamura look really good. And I don't know. I thought it seemed to me like he lost a decision or two in the UFC. Is that right?
Yeah, he's only lost decisions.
The NEC's tough. I think that this is a really tough fight. Souza, like I said, Roberto says that he's better. Marcos says that Roberto's the crown jewel of the family. They both have extremely good jiu-jitsu. I think that this is going to be another good fight. I think all these first fights, even if you don't know who these guys are, still way worth watching. How many Rizins have we watched where you don't have a clue who the guy is? Like Clay was just saying. How many
That's literally how I started watching.
Of those guys,
Yeah.
and it was like 6 finishes in a row, This is how you
Mm-hmm.
get to know new people anyway. But anyway, before we go, I wanted to talk a little bit about that Bellator show on December 29th. Teep, let me hear your thoughts on what the main event there.
On the main event, that was a great fight. That was the fight. That was one of the fights I wanted for Larkin when he came in to Bellator.
No, I'm talking about the Bellator show on the 29th in Japan. Fedor against Rampage.
Oh man, I thought you wanted to review the last Bellator card.
This isn't a Bellator show.
I thought you wanted to review Bellator fucking Oklahoma.
That's cold-blooded, man. Hey, so you're talking about Fedor and Rampage?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Fedor, big overhand right, and then Rampage.
Let me ask you about that event. They said there's going to be some Rizin and Bellator cards, Rizin versus Bellator. I want to get everyone's thought on this. Who would you like to see? They said 3, but it might be 5. 5 different bouts. Who would you like to see besides Jiri and Bader?
On that one? On the December 29th one in Japan?
Yeah, there's going to be at least 3. 3 Rizin versus
They
Bellator.
might be talking about a Yuri versus Bader. That might be one of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So keep that in mind.
Let me ask you guys.
Let me throw
What
this
kind
out
of
there.
welterweights are over there?
I've heard a lot of people wanting James Gallagher against Manel Cape. I think that would be a good fight.
Oh, hell yeah.
Ooh, man. Cape could really turn up the cockiness and have go back to his
That would be a great
I
fight.
would love that.
Right?
And he's like, they're weighing in, and he slaps him on the back of the head. Oh, my God. Just like you did with Ian McCall. But, yeah, that's a sick one.
The thing is, Gallagher is going to be back in Dublin, I think, in March. So it might be a timing thing where they're like, do we risk him getting hurt, not being ready? Oh, that is a good amount of time, though.
I was going to say, man, if it was Japan, they'd be ready to fight 3 days later.
Yeah.
2 days later. Yeah, but it isn't. But I do think something at bantamweight is going to happen in all of that.
Well, and then there's the bantamweight tournament, bantamweight Grand Prix next year for Rizin, which is going to be crazy, right? I mean, Rizin probably has the best bantamweights in the world, 1 through 10. When you look at Manel Cape, Shintaro Ishiwatari, you know what I mean? You got Horiguchi, Asakura. These guys are fucking – it's going to be a crazy. Victor Henry, I think he could beat any of these guys, to be honest with you. And same with Manel Cape.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah.
Victor Henry shows that crazy Viking, like, war spirit. He was getting tagged, but it just didn't affect his speed or his like he wasn't like, now I'm going to adjust. He was like, nope, that just happened. It's all good.
Speaking of Victor Henry, we know that Josh Barnett has to be on this card in Japan. Who would you guys like to see him fight from Rizin? Or from Bellator? Doesn't have to be from Rizin.
Yeah, I think he's going to fight a Bellator fighter. And I think the winner of Frank Mir and Roy Nelson might be that guy, because then it'll have some international flavor with Japanese appeal. Everyone knows those guys.
Right.
Yeah, Congo's a big name, too.
Yeah, but he'd just get poked in the nose and quit.
I don't think they're going to reward Congo's last performance. I don't think – I have a feeling Congo's – I know it was like, the fight didn't end, but like before the fight ended, he was getting pieced up ugly. Yeah. I mean, he got wobbled 3 times by Bader's rocket of a fucking left hand. What the fuck, Ryan Bader?
Right.
Yeah, it's the same one that was rocking Fedor.
Fucked up Fedor in 1 punch, and then wobbled check, and Kupchak has a good chin. He's not like a softie. That was crazy. What the fuck is Bader doing?
So let me ask you.
You know what it is? Bader is training with Tyrell Fortune down there in their camp. And those guys are sharpening each other up. Did you guys see Tyrell Fortune fight Rudy Shafroff?
Yeah.
He's like a Team Quest guy, one of the Shells guys.
That was a good fight.
Dude, those inside kicks, those calf kicks and shit, he was just massacring that leg. It was beautiful, man. He's like one of the baddest ass prospects in the sport. In fact, I want to see Tyrell Fortune if he's ready and healthy in Japan. He'd be a great rep.
Do you know what would be a great fight for Japan? Chandler versus Mikuru Asakara.
Wow.
That would be insane.
That's a good fight. I like that one. I like that.
Oh, you're a genius.
I don't think that would
beautiful.
happen, though. I don't know what's happening with Chandler. I haven't heard from him in a while.
Yeah, I think that he's
training.
On another title shot. Let me ask you guys this real quick, because I saw that Bader called out Rizin light heavyweights. I don't know that he actually called out Jiri. Muhammad, are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You just weren't moving. I was like, well, maybe. I don't know that he was actually calling out Jiri. I just call him out Rizin light heavyweights. Do you guys all favor Bader in that fight if they did fight?
Yeah.
Teep?
Yeah,
Hard not
100%.
to. Yeah.
It is hard not to, but I think that the length of Jiri is a little bit of a problem for Bader if he can't get his hands on him. And like me and Teep were talking about earlier, that's a different fight in the cage than it is in the ring.
It certainly is, yeah. So, I mean, like,
I
and
think
Jiri now is a very different Jiri than, like, the first King Mo fight. So he's constantly evolving, and I think it's a really interesting cross-promotion. One of the most interesting cross-promotion matchups they can make, especially given the heavier weight classes.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else exciting is, like, in the lower weight classes. I can't really think of that many welterweights in Rizin that would match up with, Michael Venom Page or
right. Yeah, they don't really have many welterweights at all. In fact,
Yeah.
this Nakamura against Souza fight is one of the first 170 fights we've seen in a long time from Rizin.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't even know that they had him.
I did.
They also signed one of the only guys, didn't they? Isn't that the guy Ed Ruth fought? Was it Ed Ruth?
Who did Ed Ruth fight?
Kichi?
Oh, yeah, Strasser, Kichi. Yeah, they let him go. And he was 2-0 in Rizin.
Right, because they didn't have any.
Right.
And actually, Bellator signed the light heavyweights away, too. They got King Carl and who's the other guy? I think
Yeah,
they got another guy.
Albertson. He fights Phil
What
Davis.
the fuck?
Carl Albertson fights Phil Davis October, 23rd?
Yeah, that'll be a great
That's
fight.
going to be a good fight.
If you remember, Zach, we were having a chat, and that was the fight I wanted to see, so I'm fucking happy as hell on that.
I did see Jared, the Monkey God Brooks, shout out to him, by the way, just followed me on Twitter. I'm going to try to get him on the podcast, but he was calling out somebody. Did you guys see that? Just last night or the night before. He was calling out somebody from Bellator, I believe, to be on this New Year's Eve card. I think it was on Twitter or something.
Let me look. Jared.
Yeah, check out his tweets and replies, because he was saying if you guys want to see me on that card. I thought he was calling out somebody, but maybe he was just trying to be on that card. But like me and Teep talked about earlier, you guys have probably seen the massive amount of Bellator fighters asking to be on this Japan card.
Yeah, I can give you guys the list that I saw just based on one of Coco's Instagram posts.
Yeah, shoot it.
So Lorenz Larkin, after he beat Cro Cop, he said he wanted to represent the company in Rizin. Carrie Melendez, Mrs. Giblet, she wants to be on there. Dave Rickles. Dave Rickles really should be, because he's Mr. Walkouts, American style. He needs to go do the real one.
Who was
Carrie Melendez, Gilbert. Dave Rickles.
Oh, what is Carrie Melendez fight at? 115 or 25?
She's at 115. She wants them to start a bracket around her, which they may well do.
Well, I know she won't fight Shinji Leclerc because they train together.
Right. Mm-hmm. No, they'll fight. But she would be cool on that. She's looking so good. Fight-wise, not sexualizing her. But man, just one of the hottest prospects down there in the women's weight classes for them, and they brought her up the right way. But she would be good. Who else called it out? Bader, obviously. AJ McKee wanted to. I mean, he's fighting right before the card, but he wants to. But if his next fight goes the way his last fight did, he would actually be able to do it, because Kharitonov didn't even throw a punch, let alone land one.
I would like to see Sergey Kharitonov against like Rocky Martinez.
God damn.
That's badass, but Sergey's fighting. Sergey got booked, I'm pretty sure.
Did he?
He did?
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Let me look it up.
I thought he did.
I didn't see that one.
because I was expecting him to get the title shot if Bader stayed, and then I seem to remember seeing it, and then they were like, I was like, oh shit, they put him in again.
Well, who's Bader's,
I could be wrong.
When is Bader's next fight? Who's he fighting?
Who?
Bader.
He's not fighting anybody.
Ryan
yet.
Bader?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Kharitonov's fighting Linton Vassell, the English guy.
Vassell, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a bad.
Who
Yeah, I don't know
famously got
what,
kicked in the face by Phil Davis.
Yeah.
Dave Davis finished. Oh, he got a finish taken off him. He didn't give it.
Lynn Vassell used to fight at 205.
yeah, he's a pretty skinny and long light heavyweight. So
No, dude, he's thick as shit. He's a brick shithouse. I saw him live fighting Bader. I don't know how that guy made 205 ever.
205
He's huge, but he got wrestle fucked.
But Kharitonov has never, since Pride days, hasn't been close to 205. I think his last weigh-in was 265.
Yeah, he
really cuts to 265, and he's going to win this fight. I'm almost sure of it.
Yeah.
Vassell's a good fighter, but this is bad for him. This is not. You don't want to just be like, hey, I'm going to strike with Sergey Kharitonov, because even Ayala, who's the only guy to touch him lately, that was just a monster overhand from another guy who cuts to 265. That shit just happens. But you don't just the odds are against you. And like we saw it with Mitrione when Sergey puts his weight on the front foot for that jab. He has a stiff jab, a real fucking stiff jab, and one of the best, probably the best at heavyweight. So he's going to tear Vassell's face up.
I was just watching some early Kharitonov and Pride and stuff a few nights ago, and he's been good for a long time. I mean, he's a problem for anybody at this time. I think that these events at the end of the year are going to be really interesting because we're going to see the Kai Asakura against Horiguchi. We're going to see some of these fights that we're waiting for. Plus, we know how Rizin does for New Year's Eve. They're going to put something big on. I don't know. I think that, like you said, the lighter weight classes, Muhammad, are probably where we see some of the Rizin versus Bellator. And I think it'll probably be some bantamweights, and maybe we'll get some of those Bellator bantamweights in the tournament next year. And I believe it's going to be a 16-man tournament, which will be great.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which would mean
watch them do 8 versus 8. Bellator versus Rizin, 8 versus 8.
That would be cool, but I think Rizin has more than 8 bantamweights to put in that tournament. But the thing would be is if they do that 16-man, it would be a September or October card. They'd fight then, and then they'd fight on the 29th, and they'd have to fight twice on the 31st, like they did with the first bantamweight.
Yeah, who knows? Rizin might do their own mini tournament to narrow down to their 8, though. you never know.
But we watched the 2017 one, Muhammad, and remember how cool it was to see Horiguchi fight 3 times in 2 days?
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite thing in this sport.
Me too.
That is my absolute favorite thing in this sport, where you see him fight, and then 2 days later you see him fight twice. It's like Cro Cop, King Mo, and the other few who've been able to do it in recent years. Yeah. This is what the Pride Legends, part of what the Pride Legends did is they kept a schedule. They weren't just like Horiguchi, like he kept a real schedule when he went there. Obviously they won't do that for everyone, but you have to have the opportunity to prove your greatness, but he definitely did.
Well, and the interesting part,
mowing guys down, until that last one.
I can't remember who Horiguchi fought on the 29th. Maybe someone could bring that up. But I know he fought Manel Cape and then Ishiwatari on the 31st, right? If that's not
totally crazy
back fucking fight, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
That's a legend shit. That's when, even if you ignore the more powerful and dynamic rule set of what those Grand Prix are the real testing grounds, because they're very open, like the King Mo Jiri fight. They were like, it's a storyline. We like this storyline. That's why we're booking it. Right. But they didn't fudge a tournament. They just booked the fight they wanted. But those tournaments, that's the heavy duty shit. So Cro Cop, he reproved his greatness in his advanced age, winning the 2016 Grand Prix. And I still think that's one of the greatest things anyone ever did in combat sports.
No,
he was 42.
Yeah, him coming back from retirement
King Mo,
to do that.
Naruto, and Bari all by finish. Fuck that.
Yeah, he came back right before that, won 10 in a row to finish out his career.
It was that's one of the better fake retirements that I've seen, where he left and then he came back and won 2 Grand Prix. He did the K1. Glory. Yeah, he did K1. The Glory one.
Was it K1 or was it Glory?
I think Glory, because I remember
he won K1 tournament later in his life too.
Oh, then it must have been K1 then.
He's won everything, man.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. And that was, I agree. That's why
his second win was insane.
with someone like King Mo, maybe you just never know. Maybe these guys get a year off and they feel invigorated. You know, you just never know. Because Cro Cop was one of those guys that you could have never told me. I knew he was great. I knew how great he was, but I also know the damage that he took in K1 and in Pride. And I just never saw him coming to win 10 in a row. Not just against any competition. People think that it was just easy competition. He fought some good guys, like you just named. He fought Rocky Martinez, cut him open. You know, I mean, he fought some good dudes. I'm going to let you guys give some final thoughts because we only got a few minutes left. Make sure everyone tunes in to Fight TV tomorrow. It is Friday night into Saturday, not Saturday into Sunday.
Friday night, okay.
We'll all be there on Twitter talking some shit. Nobody better fall asleep.
Staying up right after this so I can make it.
Teep, you got some final thoughts for us?
Yeah, man. Bellator is kicking a lot of ass. So is Rizin. Bellator's kicking a whole shit ton of ass right now. I get to go live. It looks like I'll probably be able to get to see the fight on the 25th and the 26th. So like the Mir Nelson card and the Roy Lima card live.
Nice.
And they're stacking them up. The DAZN cards have been extra stacked anyway, so like I know it's going to be a sick card.
You should fly your boy out there so I can go watch with you. That would be cool.
Okay, I just invent some money. Cool. I ain't got nothing, man. Thanks. You better hitchhike.
Hey, Mr. Clay.
And then break into the building.
Again. You got anything? Tell people where to follow you at. This guy makes amazing.
Well, I don't think I need any more followers. I think I'm doing okay right now. But
you could always use more followers.
You can go onto my YouTube channel, Uncle Joey MMA. But I'll probably post this episode up there once this is finally posted. So yeah,
it'll be posted later tonight along with the Johnny Case podcast. Everyone go check out the Jiri Prohaska podcast. That was really good. I enjoyed that a lot. Thank you guys for joining me, Muhammad. You want anyone to follow your wandering lawyer ass?
Sure. Do what you guys want, man.
Check us out, and we'll all be tweeting tomorrow night during the fights. You guys will all be watching it live or what?
Yeah, live.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Of course, that's the only way to watch it.
Fucking A,
if I miss a card
it's hard,
then
it's hard not to.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun card. I think overall that we're going to see a lot of finishes, a lot of good matchups, and I think that this being the last until we see till December, we got to have a lot of fun. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Thank you guys so much, man. We'll be talking. We'll get back on next week or something and face these picks because I think some of you guys were wrong.
Be held accountable.
Last time I was here, all my picks were wrong. So
yeah, I remember that. He tweeted me and he's all, dude, I think all my picks were wrong. Are we sure we want to show that? And I'm like, don't worry, Muhammad's wrong every time. Much love, guys. Muhammad, send me that info. Teep, give me a holla, Clay. We'll be talking, buddy.
See ya.
Take care. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
Take care, guys.
All right, fellas.